Oh boy. Welcome to Shyzalosophy 101. Here's your host, Shyzabox. Oh, they're calling me. They love me. Where's my intro lights? Whoa. Thank you. Get out of here. And the horse you rode in on. Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one. Oh, we've got a fantastic show for you today. You might be saying, oh, hold on, management's calling. What do you want? We're on time. We're doing the show. Oh, yeah, don't claim that. Gotcha. All right. Management always think they know how to run the place. Anyhow, they said don't promise it's going to be a good show. It's probably a bad idea. It's probably not going to be. But some Wednesday Waveguides for you, right? You might be saying, Wednesday Waveguides? That doesn't make any sense. Don't worry about it. Sometimes, it's when you find yourself looking for a wavelength that you necessitate the need for a waveguide. Okay? Now, waveguides work a little differently, all right, than your run-of-the-mill, just typical, not waveguides. My death was greatly exaggerated. Way! Well, Amy Jean, so we hear your death was greatly exaggerated. That's why we knew you'd come back eventually one day, But truth be told, we couldn't keep that cake laying around forever. In fact, your cake's gone. It's completely gone. Now, it might be remnants of something on a wall somewhere or another, but that's beside the point, Amy Jean. Point is that, aren't you supposed to be fixing doors or something? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Point is that we're going to have some Wednesday Waveguides here, right? You might be saying, like, what? How are you going to have Wednesday Waveguides if you're not centered? Yes, okay, calm down, Internet. Okay. We will center ourselves before we have Wednesday Waveguides. Obviously, we're not ridiculous. This centers you. Or it should. It takes 3. Excellent. Save guys. All right, good. So now that everyone's centered or whatever because of partaking in whatever the hell that was, doesn't matter. Point is that now we can continue to guide the wave that is Wednesday. You might be saying to yourself, well, that sounds boring. Man, believe you me, probably is. Better off doing something else entirely. But you may find yourself in the position where, say you're at work, and don't want to be working. You're like, well, hell, this is kind of like work just watching this guy ramble on about nothing as he sips his coffee and talks about Wednesday Waveguides. And your boss might be saying, well, what did you do today that really earned your check? And you might be saying, well, Bob, that's his name, doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. All management thinks they have the right name. They sit there, and they're like, well, what'd you do to earn your check? And you're like, well, Bob and or insert, management's name here. Did all sorts of stuff. Mainly studied waveguides today. That's pretty impressive. And they'd be like, what? Waveguides? We don't even know what that is. They don't have to. Point is that it doesn't have to be anything. So that's that. Anyhow, with it being Wednesday, you have to ask yourself, what are you going to do to get through the rest of the week? Okay? And that's where the waveguide kind of comes into play. You might be saying, maybe my week started off on a high note, and or maybe my week started off on a low note. Either way, you find yourself somewhere in the middle on Wednesday, right? Doesn't matter if you started strong or you started off weak. You can now commence to finish said week in the most grand of endeavors and means when you appropriately attune yourselves to that of which you need to be attuned to. Okay? Mainly, whatever you need to do to finish the week. Okay? So, if you started strong, then come your Wednesday Waveguide, you're going to want to kind of finish strong. Okay? Or maybe you exhausted all your best effort and put forward and forth all of your best endeavors and things of that nature, in which case you find yourself sitting back being like, well, I can just slack off the rest of the week and collect my check. In which case, yeah, you probably could. Yeah, if you started off strong and like really nailed it, out of the park, really showed up the rest of your coworkers, things of that nature, impressed your boss, yeah, you can probably call out tomorrow too and get away with it. No one will even care. But if you find yourself in the position, though, where you started off slow in the week and kind of on Monday and Tuesday, you were a little subpar in your performance, and your boss is just aching for a reason to, I don't know, fire you. Hey, hold on, management's calling. What do you want? We're doing the show. Now we'll have that talk later. They keep wanting to corner us in an office with HR. No, thank you. We know what that means. Anyhow, as you're sitting there, if you started off the week slow on a Monday or Tuesday and you're like, your boss is just aching like, oh man, this dude, he doesn't put in no work. We're going to have to let this guy go. I just feel it. Then obviously, come your Wednesday wave guide, you should be saying to yourself, Bob didn't invite me to the company picnic this weekend. I wonder if that's a indication or indicative of what may come. Well, you might be saying to yourself, I got 2 days to turn this shit around. And believe you me, if you have 2 days to turn it around, that's Thursday and Friday. So you better impress the hell out of your boss and actually do the job you were hired to do. Yes, thank you, love of the hearts. Well earned and deserved for us earning of the love of the hearts. Point being is that, yes, once you then go on your Thursday and Friday, impress your boss, you just kind of weasel your way in through the weekend or whatever, show up at the company picnic anyway, and bada boom, bada bing, good to go. So, anyhow, that's how you then rebound if you started the week slow. So, we've covered if you start the week off really good on Monday and Tuesday and impress everybody, show everyone up. We've covered if you start off really slow on Monday and Tuesday, right? And you need to pick it up at the end of the week so that you don't get fired, or let go, or terminated, or the company's moving in a different direction, or we've decided to go a different route, or your services are no longer needed, or it doesn't matter how many times we've been told whatever we've been told. Point is that they'll phrase it appropriately, however HR deems is appropriate. Point being is that now there's, let alone another way. You know us. We loves the triple helix, so we got to go into the triple trifecta. That's right. Please don't. Internet, don't make jokes at our expense. That's our job. Excellent. You know that we covered the best, we covered the worst, and we have to cover the mediocre, right? That's where we find ourselves. Yes, hello and hi. Yes, goodbye and bye. All right. Excellent. Good to see you and see you later. At the same time, you have a soundboard now. If we had a soundboard, people would laugh at our jokes. Ah, good job, Internet. Yes, we are very funny. Oh, excellent. If all our jokes were good, they'd keep laughing at them. You suck, Internet. No. Of course, you already know that, Internet. Point being, we've covered in our wave guide. Well, this is more fun anyway. Every time I wasn't here, did something evolved with you? Well, yeah. When's the last time you were here? You know how many books we have now? We got, well, this one was already out. You probably knew that one, Delectable. Okay. Our buddy wrote some books. Dirty Words and Dirty Laundry Demon. That was a good one, yeah. Oh, the new non-native species on mankind's origin. Were you around for this one? We really liked this one. This one we talk about Göbekli Tepe and things of that nature, which just totally offsets entirely the timeline of man. You look at mankind's timeline, right? And you got like the pyramids, which everyone knows about. They're there. You got Göbekli Tepe, which everyone knows about. All right. So let's go ahead and do this professionally, because obviously we are the best of the worst professionals on the internet. That's right. So if you have your timeline here, okay, it goes this way. Doesn't matter. You can go up and down if we want it to. Who cares? All right. Say the red is where we are at now. We're in a volatile state. The world's on fire. Everybody calm the F down. Take a step back. Okay? Center ourselves. No. Okay, we'll go the other way. All right. So no, we're going good with that. All right. So here's where we are as mankind. Volatile dip. Ah! All right. So we got the pyramids. Okay. Yeah, pretty old on the pyramids, right? Right by mankind. And then we got like, I don't know, Stonehenge and stuff like that. And then we got Göbekli Tepe, which is way the F over there off of the timeline. It throws everything into complete chaos and says, whoops, we were wrong entirely as a species. Sorry about that. Point being, that's why we wrote about Göbekli Tepe in this one. The new non-native species on mankind's origin. Available on Amazon.com and probably in major retailers or something. Who cares? You got to search Shyzalosophy box books. I don't know. When else were you around? Poetry. Our buddies... book we did with him, Meatballs on Mondays. That was like a kid's book. And Secret Demon Drop mystery novel. This should be a Netflix movie show. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Got a couple other theological works that are out. Our Pickled Punk Philosophy. I don't know. When did you leave off? It doesn't matter. The point is that we got all of the wares with which we can pedal. Because, believe you me, when you're peddling wares... Anyhow, moving straight into it, as we were saying, let's get back to the Wave Guide for the Wednesday, okay? We don't want to disappoint all ones of our... No. Yes, no to all of them. Don't buy just one. No to all of them. You must buy them all and give them to someone else as a gift and or read them on Kindle Unlimited. Let a kid swipe through it or something. They don't even got to read the words. We get 0.004 cents per page read. Bada boom, bada bing. Pow, pow, pow. We bring you all of this free content. Excellent. All we have to do is peddle some of our wares. But when we incorporate stuff like Göbekli Tepe into our works or whatever, it's because we have a, affinity for the subject matter and the topic at hand itself. Okay, as historians in college and philosophers in college and things of that nature, we have always been perplexed by the, kind of origins of mankind with which, has been presented in society. Okay, now from a theological perspective, with all of our endeavors and things of that nature, within the realm of theological philosophy and theology and things, in themselves, as we find ourselves completed with having read the Torah and the Bible itself and a good substantial portion of the Quran, though not in the entirety we want to or whatever. Yeah, it's on the list. And Book of Mormon on the list. Hey, we've read parts and things of that nature. And we've read Ethiopian Bible, and we've read all of the little kind of sub-hidden texts and things of that nature, the Nag Hammadi texts and all of that, Dead Sea Scrolls. Okay, there's a lot of stuff there, all of the ancient archaic philosophies and things of that nature, little tomes and tablets and manuscripts and things printed on bamboo and papyrus and, cuneiform, this, that, the other. Okay, it doesn't matter. Point is that we should probably finish with the rest of the stuff on the Wave Guide. Excellent. So, you have the week, you start off great. You have the week, you start off bad. What if you just start off mediocre? Like us. Best of the worst, right? You start off in the middle. You just go right under the radar. All the way, you've made it to Wednesday. 2 more days of skating by, and bada bing, bada boom, you're good to go. Probably collect a paycheck or something. Yeah. Then you break your good old Shyzalosophy box off a piece or two when you go and pick up his literary endeavors. And you're like, better gift this to someone else. Exactly. Why read it? Who cares? Point is that there was a point to that at some point. So there you go. Excellent. So, where were we? With it being Wednesday, the point is, no matter how you started, whether you started strong, whether you started weak, whether you started mediocre, all right, and just maintained the bare minimum enough to get by, all right, you, within the realms of your abilities and yourself, can now finish the week at the level or desired level with which you choose to finish the week thereupon and thereat, okay? If you wake up these next 2 days and you're like, I really don't feel like putting in any effort at all, then, ironically, that's probably going to be the amount of effort that you put in. Not really a lot at all. And your work performance will reflect as such. So, you better hope that you skated by the earlier part of the week all right, and you don't get shit canned. But, better part than that, say you're the boss. Then you can do whatever you want. Who cares? You're the big guys here in the house. Well, it's not only a party now. Now it's a festival. Because it's always a festival when the big JC's here. You know why? Because. Excellent. Yes. And Amy Jean is here as well. You might remember the big JC, Amy Jean, from such streams as a while back. I think she had a birthday here or something. Or, I don't know. One or the other. Probably. And then they're back now again. So obviously, something. Point being, you get to pick how you want to finish the rest of the week out, okay? You can finish well ahead of the curve, all right? Put in that extra good couple effort on these next couple days. Maybe impress the boss. Make that company an extra $1 or $2, okay? With which they'll, well, not give it to you. Who cares? If they do, break us off a piece and buy our book. That wasn't a joke. It was a request politely. Oh. You don't have to. Excellent, Internet. Yes. That's why we're one of you, Internet. Because we are one of you. You might be saying, oh, God, no, you aren't. Oh, yes, we are, Internet. We were there in dial-up days with your mired little entities and your marred little usernames, okay, that were derivative of the first ones of their kind, okay? You might be saying, no way, there's no way you were there with the AOL dial-up days and we're continually getting new CDs for 1,000 free hours of AOL online, and we would be saying, I don't know, were we or not? There's only one way that someone can take, hey, you're sorry. No, don't be sorry. You have no reason to be. Just keep being you, because however you are is the most great you can be. Oh, yeah, you got to go. That's fine. You can buy our books anytime. You don't even have to be here for that. They're on Amazon. You just go there. Shazzabox Books. Black. Do not follow this author. Bow, bow, bow. But no, you got to go. Bye-bye. We'll see you later. Point is whatever we were talking about was very important. So rewind a couple seconds and watch it again. Commit it to memory. Then come back, fast forward it into the chat and tell us what the hell we were saying, because we forgot. I'm a revenue-generating tax cattle. Well, hell yeah, you're a revenue-generating tax cattle, the big JC. That's why we have to keep you around. Because we don't have any revenue. We gotta milk every little bit that we can from every apparatus and venue with which there is to milk. Believe you me, the only kind of milk that we don't like is Joey's milk. Never Joey's milk. If it's from Joey, it's a no-y. Don't gulp. Where were we? Well, you might be saying, you were where you shouldn't have been to begin with. You brought up Joey and contaminated the entire stream. So at this point in time, we like to take the time to apologize for last stream. Sorry about that. Anyhow, moving straight into it, what else did we have to talk about today as far as the Wednesday Waveguides go? Well, we've touched base with performing well or underperforming or mediocrity in its entirety, right? But say you don't want to commit to any sort of type of working or things of that nature. Moo. Yes, moo. You need to move on over to the next train there, because that is where you can wholeheartedly and entirely avoid Joey at all costs. Now, you might be saying, no, it's impossible. You can't avoid Joey at all costs. Everywhere I turn, there's Joey. Staring at me right in the face. That's not good. You don't want to celebrate that, Internet. Well, thank you. All right, you were joking. Jeez Louise. You know, you start talking about Joey being right up on you, and that is not a celebration. No, 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 no. That is not a celebration. That's right. You laugh now. You laugh now. You gotta be careful. Be careful with that one. All right, where were we? The point is that now you know whether you start off good in the week, whether you start off bad in the week, mediocre in the week, throughout the entirety of the week, you avoid Joey, okay? That's going to set your week off grand in the direction with which it should have embarked on to begin with, okay? As long as you avoid Joey, you can start off the week as the worst employee possible at any business or facility or thing like that, okay? You can be the utmost worst as long as you're not, along the lines of Joey, okay? It's what really kind of sways, I would say, common decent folk that might or might not be employed at any such business or apparatus or things of that nature, corporation, if you will, entity. Once they are able to eliminate the Joey and fine-tune everything with which they know he is to be the worst of the worst pertaining to that of which is Joey himself, then, there's no way to go except an upward trajectory, straight up into Profitville. You might be saying, whoa, Profitville sounds terrific. Let's start milking those cows again. Well, yeah, now that we got Joey the hell out of the equation, that was a close one. Internet, you got to be careful. Oh, you laugh again, Internet. Not a laughing matter. Eh? Need we remind you of the infamous Joey fiasco of 2021? Oh, yes. Oh, I guess we have to. Okay, well. It wasn't good. Excellent. All right. So now that we've covered all of that in its entirety, in every way, shape, and form with which it could be pretty much covered, we must ask ourselves, how much longer are we going to be in the position with which we find ourselves wanting to talk about how to manipulate the waveguide midweek to solidify a great ending thereupon, okay? Now, like we said, the effort that you put in and or the effort with which you do not put in is going to be indicative and reflective, all right? And it's going to completely mirror the efforts with which you've put in and or not put in from the beginning of the week on, okay? So if you started a little light off in the week, you might want to, put the pedal to the metal a little bit and get a little bit more output from your, essence, from your being. Maybe go on a walk or sweep a front porch. I don't know. Whatever you do, that adds more to what your daily routine usually consists of. Maybe it consists of doing some stretches. I don't know. Does that sound something like that's good? Maybe, maybe not. The point is that no matter what you do, as long as it's something that you're doing for that of your own self-betterment, all right, then in essence, you can't go wrong. Now, of course, we don't give you advice on what to do or undertake or partake in or anything like that. That's between you and your certifying people that certify things for you. Okay? That's not us. Okay? This is all for philosophical entertainment. Okay? Now, ironically, most of our philosophical entertainments are rooted in plausible fact because that's how we like to operate. We like fiction, but we like science fiction too, which I guess is still fiction if you think about it. Point being is that no matter how you think about it, there are aspects and components of science fiction with which can be made livable in current means and endeavors and within one's own components of their lives that they choose for it to manifest itself into being, okay? There is ways to maybe scientifically improve some components or aspects, and you're like, well, yeah, if you grant Big Brother access into everything. Hey, Alexa, why don't you do this, that, the other, and lock me in my house? Okay, yeah, fair enough. You want to be careful with some stuff, sure, what you introduce, but there are ways that you can upgrade stuff. Say you have, I don't know, a manual can opener. They make electric ones. So you could afford yourself that technological upgrade and get yourself an electric can opener. Might be saying, I don't have $15 laying around. You think we do? We're selling books here at fractions of cents per page read on Kindle Unlimited. We don't have an electric can opener either. We're lucky we don't have to use our teeth to open cans. Ah! Oh, man, quick, someone buy this guy's book. Yes, Internet, that was funny. A little bit of a delayed response, but it's because we're kind of hilarious. Took you a while to get it. It's because you're kind of slow, Internet. That's okay. As we said, we are one of you, and we are one of you. Like we said before, we used to surf the seas of the dial-up stream of data with which you would surf when you would find yourself in chat rooms talking mad smack upon that of whoever else was in there, because why not? That's how the internet worked back then. Good thing no one talks trash on the internet nowadays. It would be chaotic. Oh, if it was anything like how the internet used to be, probably wouldn't even function or work in any way, shape, or form. But that's neither here nor there, because what is here is also there. And that's the internet, which is still there and here. So, there you go. It's in both places. Or two places at once. There you go. So, kind of like two things that occupy one space. It's possible, theoretically, and provably. Okay? Where's our magnetite? Where's our magnetite? That's down here. We always have our magnetite. Excellent. Okay? Two things occupying one space. Right? Fantastic. Physical and magnetic around it at the same time. You might be saying, you should have just shown us your rocks earlier. We like your rocks. Well, we like our rocks too. That's why we like to brandish them towards the end of the stream. It leaves people kind of wanting a little more. Believe you me, if there's one thing we need them, it's wanting a little more. A desire to go by our literary works and endeavors. Because without your money, we don't have it. So there you go. Point is that yes, we like to save our rocks towards the end of the stream. Okay? And that's because everyone loves to see us play with our rocks. That's right. When one undertakes staring at nature, looking at nature, equipping themselves midweek, all right, with the tools and the necessities to embark on the remaining part of one's week or things of that nature, all right, you set yourself up for the successes with which you wish to see and or reap, okay? As we always sit back and massage our stones, all right, we think to ourselves, you know, self, there's all sorts of components that we really enjoy, all right, of just thinking on a philosophical level, okay? Not even with any aim or mean or quandary or, you know, desire with which to think of anything in particular at all. But then you start just putting stuff together one by one, two by two. Those concentric circles, those old maps that used to be shown and made, you know, back in the day that have, ironically, you know, people call it the ice wall around Antarctica, stuff like that. And there's components of that with which we do wish to, you know, embark upon a little more understanding. But we think that there has to do something with some resonating kind of technology with which affords one the opportunity to go a little beyond that of which they think. And there's a good chance that perhaps some of those old maps, theoretically, for philosophical entertainment, of course, are kind of indicative of such, and they're not necessarily land masses per se, but resonantial frequencies, kind of like, along the lines of what we were saying with Voynich manuscript being geometrically inclined and not linguistically inclined. But needless to say, what do we know? We just know that nature affords stuff naturally in that of its own being. Concentric circles elicits gain. Fantastic. Well, gain. That's pretty good. Means it works better, right? Yeah, it absolutely does. Yep, our old quantum tunneling rock. Yes, yes, our friend. We like this one because nature naturally tunnels. Yes. Why can there then not be the triple helix with the quantum tunneling when nature tunnels that of itself naturally as it does? Well, you know what? There probably can be and is. That's why we say there's a triple helix, and we are the bringer to you thereof, because that's how we roll. And when you have the tunneling, when you have the gain, can nature balance itself out and maintain itself in a solid form of physical being, of power manifest? Well, yes, it absolutely can. All right? Concentric circles become part of it itself. Tunneling done. Geometric gain complete. Bada boom, bada bing. So, two things, one space. Yes, yes, absolutely. Why not? Because, theoretically, it's how we like to operate in the plausible, impossible, impossible, plausible, and mathematically feasible when all your math aligns and is correct, which ours is, ironically. So, anyhow, take it for what it is. The point being is that we find ourselves now knowing how to address then, whether you do it naturally and looking at nature like us midweek here on Wednesday, whether you force yourself to, as we had stated that you could, to grind out the rest of the week if you had started subpar, or you could ride out, not really care if you started off, ahead of the curve. All right. If you rode out that midweek vibe, you need to continue with that. Keep it even and consistent. You don't want to end strong and have people expect too much from you. You don't want to end weak and have people be let down by that of you not being good enough. You got to just maintain that equilibrium. Okay? Be consistent. Consistently awesome. As everyone is already. So, don't be consistently not awesome or something. Doesn't matter. Point being is that now we find ourselves having entertained that of which, all right, being pretty much a complete thought. So, how now do we wish to finish that of our week? Now, you might be saying like, oh, finish it. Give us more live streams. Of course you want us to give you more live streams, Internet. But if we said we weren't going to, you don't mean that, sillies. If we were going to, then we will. Let it be afforded into that of which it will. We can't start mediocre and end mediocre. We start off bad, we end good. We start off good, we end great. We start off mediocre, we still end pretty all right. It's just a run-of-the-mill of how our lived philosophy works. Shyzalosophy affords for there to be truth in everything. Obviously, it's that symbiotic truth with which you should account and strive for that, in essence, manifests itself into the reality that is what you know to be. Okay? And when you have that reality manifest, and when you're on your day-to-day lives and endeavors, and you're thinking to yourselves, I need my own little special magic Shyzabox rock so that I can see my quantum tunneling, and I can see my geometric gain, and I can see my ability to maintain cool, calm direction manifest in the week. Well, then that waveguide is steady. That waveguide is solid, and that waveguide now becomes that of which you can operate upon. You no longer need a standard copper wire if you're using a waveguide with which to not, conduct all your energy, but say induct all your energy, right? You might be saying like, oh, that just makes sense. Obviously, of course it makes sense. It's because we're us. We make it into a make sense kind of way. If we didn't, then it wouldn't make sense. And obviously, that wouldn't make sense in its own. So there you go. We will entertain any questions while we sip on the rest of our coffee. Otherwise, we will be departing here as soon as we are done with such. And believe you me, you might think this will take us a while, but you've made us talk for a while now on our own accord and metrics and merits without any oversight of yourself at all. So it's pretty much your fault this has gotten a little cold. We're probably going to have to chug this pretty fast. So bring on your questions, should you wish. We will answer all of your philosophical quandary with that of which we choose to at this time. Or feel free to not. What do you know? We're out of coffee. Oh. It's a telltale sign. Hi, Punk, are you Irish by any chance? There's a little small derived Irish in some of the amount of Irishness, but it's kind of like a stopover Irish, okay? It's not like a long-term Irish, okay? So, like, say, like, my ancestors were coming from, like, Middle Europe, and they're like, what? Surprise, surprise. Bear with us. All right, so we're Middle Europe, right? They're like, let's go to America. It sounds kick-ass. They like to party and stuff, right? And it's like, yeah, that's probably just what our ancestors were saying back in the day. They're probably rebels, like us. So they're probably like, yeah, let's do it. And they're like, wait a minute. Let's go kick it in Ireland for a minute. And they're like, well, but the party's over there. Yeah, but we can get some, like, cool stuff and bring it with us. They're like, all right. So they just, like, jumped to Ireland real quick and then, hauled ass from there. So a little bit there, a little bit there. So, yes. Where are you situated just now? Well, now, obviously, in the United States of United States. Because, if we're being honest, that's the one place that would tolerate some shenanigans such as this. You might be saying, like, shenanigans? No way! I live for such things. And yes, it would be correct. Because there's nothing shenanigistic about philosophy. Unless it's a shenanigan philosophy, like in Pickled Punk Philosophy. Where's that one? That's a fun book. Where's that book? Here's one. Yes! Pickled Punk Philosophy. That one's a fun one, because it's soaked in brine. You might be saying, that's reversed backwards, I can't see it. Yeah, don't worry about it. But this one here, yes, this one, that's for all you angsty young whippersnappers that wish to, I don't know, be angsty young whippersnappers or something like that. Doesn't matter. But whether we sit here playing with our little Julie stones and such, whether we continue to theorize on magnetite and the parameters with which it can be that upon itself, you just think to yourself, man, things like this, magnetite itself, being able to have magnetic properties in a physical form, the sky's the limit, okay? On the potential to do stuff with it. And you get something like this wet, it has that kind of reverse property to it because there are flat surfaces on it and those rough surfaces as well. The water can't necessarily run off it. It has nowhere to go. So the water tries to, like, compress into it, but it's already compressed into a physical thing. So it maintains kind of like a dry wet fill or a wet dry fill. Hey, you might be saying to yourself, like, well, that sounds ridiculous. And believe you me, science can be. And theoretical physics and theoretical things of that nature can be as well. Theoretical everything can be very interesting. Very, very interesting indeed. But what isn't interesting anymore is that we're out of beverage, and so we gotta go. So, hold on. So you're into philosophy. Into philosophy? Of course we're into philosophy! Have we not peddled our wares to you yet? The new non-native species on mankind's origin. We monographed lective. It's an old pre-Stoic philosophical term. Do you even philosophy, bro? We love philosophy. That's our bread and butter. You might be saying, like, I don't see your bread or butter. Rude. Internet. But yeah, we got all sorts of literary works and things like that on Amazon.com and Kindle Unlimited, and you can get some stuff from Books and Noble and Barnes Unlimited if it's one of the little distributed ones and such. Yep, just search Shyzalosophy books, things of that nature. But yes, we love some philosophy. You got Guinness and Irish stew. Well, yes, of course we have Guinness and Irish stew. Whenever people give it to us, delicious. It takes thousands of tons of water pressure to create that stone. The magnetite. It is such a phenomenal, fantastic, piece of just geology and stuff like that, and scientific quandary with which one could have pertaining to it. Have you seen our triple helix? We do a trifilar helical weave and bold claim cotton, see how it pans out, to have decoded the Voynich manuscript. You might be saying, like, that's a bold-ass claim, right? Yeah, it's because we've been studying linguistics for a good while and found that linguistically, a lot of that stuff doesn't line up with the Voynich manuscript. It looks like it's all going to come down to geometrically, aligned because of the gaps within of the pictures themselves, the 0.85 millimeter gaps. It all lines up. You can make a trifilar helical weave when you wind all of the pages together. Mathematically, it equates and ironically all balances out. So yes, bold move. We think that you can get the page 1 there of the Voynich manuscript would show, in essence, the start of like a seed, okay, in which you would elicit the power therefrom. Okay, it'd be like a 0.41 watt seed, okay, in which case of our mathematical equations and deductions go into, 0.41 watt seed, and you can elicit, theoretically, just with some quantum alignment and things of that nature, and utilizing some of the geological available scientific means, okay, if you center some trifilar helical wires and things of that nature, all right, to 432 hertz, then you can, in essence, make a resonator, or, a kind of generator versus a engine or a motor, and you could, in essence, harness solar energy or solar power off of that if it's attuned with the 432 hertz with the natural resonance of the universe. So there you go. Anyhow, yes, it is neat to think of how things align and stuff like that. We did, I don't think we got a copy of it here. Our most recent book called Transmutating God. That one talks about how iron over copper as a means of energy and things of that nature would be far superior in essence than that of what copper provides. With copper being such a flat, linear design and stuff where you just conduct energy through it, it doesn't afford anything. If you make a lattice structure, okay, out of iron, all right, you make it porous enough, okay, then you could send current through the lattice structure, and you would actually have the porous air pockets with which data could go through it as well. So you could put, infrastructure and, data and all that, media on the same lines to everything, man. Easy peasy, right? You just start making DC cables encapsulated in like mag kind of tunnels almost, or little apparatuses around them and stuff. They repair themselves, theoretically. But, it's what the world wants to do, right? Let's see what else we got. Where did you study? Well, we studied all over the place. We grew up all over the place, multiple places. We finished our college in the southeastern U.S. or whatever with a degree in history and a minor in philosophy. Now, you might be saying to yourself, like, what, with all of that other stuff? Why don't you have a doctorate in theoretical physics and stuff like that? And cosmological philosophy? Well, you laugh, Internet. We don't have a degree in that because it would cost us $250,000 to go to the one school on the West Coast out in Cali, some bobo school someone's never heard of. us, it cost us $250,000 to go pursue a piece of paper to do that of which we can do for free on our own. Now, you might be saying, yeah, but if you do it that way, then maybe people give a shit about what you say. And believe you me, Internet, they can believe us, they cannot believe us. The echoes of time will, either prove us to be laughing stocks and or will prove us to have stood on some form of merit. The biggest thing to take away is whilst we posit theory, whilst we posit things that could be, all right, just because we do, and just because theoretically they are plausible, possible, things of that nature, and just because our math aligns perfectly, all right, it's not about the theories we are creating in our book, Delectable, okay, specifically, it is about the usages of lecta therein, okay, lectin, individual lectas, okay, with which you can extract and derive and deduce working, plausible theories within themselves, all right? We had had on the last stream or whatever, I think it was page 216, now it sticks out in our head. It might not even be that. We had our simulated Large Hadron Collider experiment, right? And in that experiment, we said you could run this, and theoretically you could, that's not it, that's a different chart. That's the some of the linguistical stuff. We said that you could run stuff, all right, on a simulated Large Hadron Collider, and you could theoretically get a hit, all right? And, we never did it. But guess what? Finally, we did it. Guess what? We got a hit. Turns out we were able to do that too. That's not it. It's one of the pages. It's in Delectable or whatever. Doesn't matter. Point is that it's not for us about the theories being correct. It's not about the theories being right, okay? It's about what can be done with them, all right? And it's about how they are extracted, okay? To extract plausible working theory, all right, from theoretical basis, I don't know if necessarily people understand the scope of what that affords you the opportunity to do, but if you can deduce and extract working theory from theoreticals, okay, that ironically work, that's it's a whole open ball game, okay? Not only that, there's no rules to it. You can do whatever you want as long as it works. Page 71, Delectable. The big JC coming through. Is it on page 71, the simulated Large Hadron Collider? Oh, the big JC, always coming through. Let's see. It sure is. Yes. All right. The big JC. Hold on. Management's calling. Yeah, we tried to hire him. Yeah, I know he makes us look bad. Well, we're working on it. Leave us alone. We're doing the show. Excellent. Sorry, JC. Management says that they don't want you on the show. We did our best to pull for you, though. Point is that the big JC is right. Page 71 in Delectable has the simulated Large Hadron Collider experiment, and with which, please run it for yourselves. We get a ping on 7EV, man. That's on the spectrum, not where people expect to see stuff, okay? On the visual spectrum. Different spectrum. Don't worry about it. Point is, it's always about posing the questions. I prefer Confucius. Oh, yes, you should prefer Confucius because he was a thinker, not a doer. You know what Shyzalosophy is? He's a doer that thinks. So, I prefer Confucius too because he makes us think about thinking about stuff, and then we go and do shit about it. Such as when we write, in essence, what necessitates a paragraph's worth of spacing or things of that nature, with which we pose to Wikipedia and be like, hey, you guys got one of those red terms that, you don't have any information on here. Let me throw you a bone. This is what it is. And they're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. No, you escalate. And they don't know what they're talking about. We say, go get a cosmological philosopher. They're like, they're way out in California. There's only one school that offers that doctorate degree. We're like, well, you better go track those motherfuckers down because, you guys are way off your rocker on this one. And they're like, no, you are. We're like, well, then we're going to monograph it in an entire book. And there you go. So there you go. Excellent. But where were we? Watching you, I think your hat's too tight. Everything's too tight around here. You know what's tight around here as well? Our damn wallet. No one's buying our books. There's a reason. Hey! It's messed up, Internet. That is messed up. You might be saying, why don't you start an OnlyFans? Again? If we have to reboot that for the second or third or fourth time, only to get shut down again, it's not going to work out. But yeah, you're right. Hat's entirely too tight. Almost cuts off the strangulation to our thinking piece, right? You might be saying, like, maybe it should be tighter. I don't know, maybe. Just sit, relaxing, and contemplate. Now. Yes, if you want to talk about Confucius in regards to that, well then, we don't actually prefer Confucius in the realms of that. We prefer Dogen, okay? Dogen tells us, just don't do anything. And, in essence, that's the sitting and relaxing part. Just not doing anything. Believe you me, if we did that all week, we would be very centered and at peace. But it doesn't make for a good show, right? Neither does what you do. Not funny. That was funny, though. Are your books self-published? Of course they're self-published. You think anyone else would want to touch these with a 10-foot pole? Yes, they are self-published because you have to look at the logistics and everything like that comes with literary endeavors. There are millions of books written on a yearly basis. Millions, okay? There are a handful of publishing companies, all right, that will publish literary works. And within those handful of companies, okay, there are afforded there within such a backlog of what they have lined up to be published and released. It's absurd. Trying to crack into that market is one of the most horrible things that one could undertake with which to try and make a viable, constructed living thereupon or therewith. However, that being the case, obviously, we're not going to sit in line waiting for our turn for someone to either say yay or nay on that of which we pose or poise as theoretical philosophy, as plausible philosophy, as philosophy in its own merit or self. We don't need to go to a big publishing company, have someone read our entire work, and then critique that upon with which they do not understand in any iota, way, shape, or form. Okay? Now, say they do understand it. Okay? They go through and they see that in Delectable, we have 6, 7, 8 literary mistakes. Okay? Punctuation errors, grammatical errors, spelling errors. That is the price we pay for doing that of which we do. We have to, as an artist, as a literary author, as a philosopher, as a thinker, as a being and or an internet entity that claimed Daryl Dixon Dibs to be the best of the worst on the internet. Okay? We need to maintain that knowledge, knowing that doing it on our own is going to throw additional hurdles in our way with which we will stumble upon and completely fall flat on our face. However, no matter if we start the week off great and we've sold 1 or 2 books, or we start the week off horrible like most of them and sell 0. The books exist in the medium And those of who wish to pursue thereupon, embarking on the thoughts there within, shall do such. Those who wish not to shall not. Now, as things like our simulated Large Hadron Collider experiment, if someone in the academic world or someone in the scientific community puts a plausible thought into that of our thoughts, or entertains the ideas with which we present, and gets the exact same results that we got, okay, there within, then it opens up the entire apparatus, all right, of where publication and things of that nature can go, okay? So while first iterations of the works, okay, and first, releases of it, all right, may be self-published there within itself, all right, theoretically, should the works prove of merit, all right, we'll update manuscripts as well as needed, and try and accommodate for some of the errors there within, especially on our behalf. When you do the writing itself, the proofreading, the editing, the revising, the layout, the design, everything like that, you're bound to be afforded a mistake or two, or in our case, 7 or 8 in this work. Hey, but you get better as you go. 2 or 3 in this one, okay? We'll have mistakes as we complete things on our own endeavors and on our own accord. However, we will be afforded the opportunity to at least make them, okay? Because if we waited on someone else, okay, to read that of which is contained and delectable, with which to then be like, no, that doesn't sound like anything, worth a shit. You don't know what you're talking about, all right? Then that shuts down everything altogether. Ironically, what happened, though, is we told people in Wikipedia about stuff as far as lectin go, and they said no, and we said yes, and they escalated it. And then they said no, and we said yes, and they escalated it. We got up 2 or 3 chains of their management. They're like, no, you don't know what you're talking about, dude. And we're like, well, yes, we do. So we wrote the book on it, monograph lectin, okay? And with such, have now demonstrated that not only is how we've monographed them theoretically and plausibly capable and, in essence, a part thereof, all right, as we run our little simulated Large Hadron Collider tests and get results on that, and it pings back more, it just goes to solidify it even more. So yes, the first works being self-published, stuff like that, absolutely. That is with how to approach the marketplace. No other way with which we could approach it there within. As a flying pirate. Yes, well, all the rest is do fun. There's all sorts of stuff. In fact, you'd be happy to know, Sir Jakes. It goes both ways. We can call you Jakes Jacks, right? Yeah, of course we can. So, Jacks. Point is that no matter how we want to end up going about getting the philosophy in there, we'll find a way to do it one way, shape, or form. We'll try and have fun doing it, okay? When we get told no, all right, by Wikipedia, and it makes us a little angsty, then we write a book like Pickled Punk Philosophy, okay? When soaked in brine, that's right, reversey backwards, all right? When we then find ourselves wanting to embark on some additional endeavors and things of that nature to have, you've got mail, then we will be thence upon going more along the lines of finishing our pirate book. Yes, excellent, which is in the works, coming along brilliantly, might we say, and not even our pirate book, but some pirate's pirate book. So there you go. Do with that information what you will. Something to not look forward to. Hey! Anyhow. Well, Sit, relax. Yes, yes, yes. That's too tight. All right. Well, I think we did all that stuff. Yeah, we got all that covered. So I guess that's pretty much still about it. If you have any last-minute philosophical questions, quandaries, put them in now. Otherwise, we're getting out of here because we got other books to not sell. Mainly ours. So you should, I don't know, do something. Excellent. Yes, very funny. All right. Well, I guess that's going to do it for us. You all have yourselves a great rest of the week, no matter if you choose to ride it out in the middle of it, whether you choose to do your best foot forward and ride out the rest of the week strong under the best of pretenses. Jacks. Excellent, Jack 6. Yes, we would call you Jack 6, especially with the 4 in your username. Makes us think Jack 6 right away, because there's one thing that we know, 2468. Who do we appreciate? Jacks, Jack 6, obviously. Yes, we already knew that was the case. Yes, excellent. Jack 6 it is. Jack 6, you keep us on our toes. Mainly because we all keep trying to swat that damn fly around here. That keeps rearing his head in the studio. We're like, fly, you need to get the hell out of here. Because you just do. That's what happens. So, anyhow, that's about it. Feel free to go to Amazon and pick up any of our books. We don't want your subscription. We want your money. Downvote the shit out of this and give us a buck. Get off our lawn.